Hey everybody, welcome to Obscurities and Miniatures. It's Friday, which means it's time for my favorite obscurities in literature. And today we've got a book that's been very near and dear to me over the years. It is Jim Woodring's The Frank book. Now, this is not the original first edition of it, sadly. I want to say the original was in hardcover, but a lot of the material in here, and there's a lot because this is clocking in at over 300 something pages of crazy, surrealist, absolutely bizarre comics. I read a lot of these actually through my younger brother. He has much more impeccable taste than even I do, and I remember he first got turned on to Frank way back in the early 90s, probably through Tundra or Fantagraphics or Kitchen Sink. I know we read a lot of Kitchen Sink stuff in the early 90s, but Tundra seemed to be pretty hand-in-hand at the time with them as well, so I'm going to assume it's one or the other. I'm pretty sure both actually have published stuff by Jim Woodring, so it's kind of all mixed in there. But anyway, let's get to the actual comic. You'll notice from the cover, if you're not really familiar with Jim Woodring's stuff, it often has a very surrealist edge to it, and I think that's one of the things that really attracted me early on. This book is interesting because not only does it have a lot of the color pieces, and yes, Frank himself is very, I don't know, folksy, old-timey looking, but then everything else that exists in his world is absolutely just, well, it's out there. Yes, Frank in the River. I believe this was one of the first ones that we ever came across, and it was fully painted, and just, you can see there's very interesting things happening, and I'm not going to let you see everything, but just the uniqueness is very dreamlike, very bizarre, and some of the other characters that show up and the things that happen just are. To me, the black and white pieces, I feel, are a lot more interesting and exciting just because it lets you put in your own color choices. And Woodring's line work is absolutely impeccable. It's very unique, very stylish, very distinct, and the things that happen over the course of the various stories, and just their layout as well, is very interesting and innovative in how the stories progress, if you want to call them that. Everything is basically done in pantomime. There is no dialogue. There will be bits of actual text here and there. And again, there are some stories that actually have an explanation that go along with them. There's very few of those. And it's interesting because it's just the kind of book you can pick up every now and then and flip through it and probably discover something that you've never seen before. I do not remember this one, and I know I've read through this quite a few times already over the years. And you do have a nice intermingling of the black and white pieces with the color, so while you may not have all of one or the other, and it's just very, very unique, distinctive work. If you want something different, I absolutely recommend any of Woodring's books. I feel like this is probably his most accessible because it's in nice, small little bites. There are other works by Woodring where things start to get very bizarre, creepy, and nightmarish very quickly, like what's happening in this story right here. And in the back of the book, we have quite a few of his little just illustrated pieces here. And honestly, like I said, to me, this is probably one of his more accessible books. He's done a few long-form graphic novels, Fran here being one of them. I believe the others, I know I've got them all, Weathercraft, Congress of Animals, and I'm forgetting the other one. This is a sequel to Congress of Animals, actually, so don't want to give too much of that away. Poochie Town, that's the last one. To me, these, I feel, are more interesting and exciting bits. They are entirely in black and white, and it's one long, cohesive story, if you want to call it that. And I don't want to give away too much, because I thought these were absolutely nightmarish, and I know my son, who really enjoyed looking through them, even said that they were incredibly fun and disturbing. So, if you want something like that, absolutely. There are elements of that in the Frank book as well. But you get even more so of that when you start getting into his more long-form hardcover books. So something different, something obscure, and something that's definitely fun to just take a look at every now and then and try to understand what it is you're even looking at, because, yeah, things happen, and I don't know, I enjoy that. There's no real explanation. It just is. So if that's something up your alley, I absolutely do recommend any of Jim Woodring's stuff, but especially the Frank book. I feel like it's the most accessible, and you get really the most bang for your buck. These you'll burn through really fast. There obviously being no words. It is fun to come back to and really ogle the art and really appreciate how much craftsmanship went into these things. But yeah, you'll burn through them really fast, whereas I feel like the Frank book, there's just so much content to it, and it's fun just to, pick out 3 or 4 stories, sit on the shelf, pull it out the next few days, go through a couple more, and there's just really a lot there to enjoy. So hopefully, I didn't take a look on Amazon. The last time I tried to recommend a book on here, I looked and then it was like $300 or something ridiculous. So hopefully, I would imagine, since this is with Fantagraphics, I believe. Yeah, right there. Fantagraphics is usually pretty good about keeping their more popular stuff in print. So I would hope that maybe this might look a little bit different. Maybe it's been a revised edition since the one I got here. But it should be accessible, and it should be available at a reasonable price. So do take a look if you want something crazy and very much in the realm of surrealism, because that's not something you often see in American comic books especially. With that said, this has been High Lord Tamberlane with Obscurities in Miniature and in Literature. Saying thanks for watching. We'll see you back here soon. Bye-bye.